Hi everyone, and welcome to Paper Pumpkin Week here on Creative Chelsey. This week I'll be sharing some great card ideas you can make with the supplies from the February 2025 Paper Pumpkin Kit called Hello Spring. The cards this month are perfect for spring with images of herbs in soft blues, greens, and pinks. If you would like to watch me unbox the kit and create these cards, you can click on the playlist in the top right corner. I am starting this week with 2 alternate card ideas made from one card base in the kit. I love how they both have a pop of pink and they are quick and easy to put together with just a couple tips and tricks I want to share. I hope you stick around to see how I make them both. Each month I take the contents from the Paper Pumpkin kits and make alternative projects. My cards are easy to follow and can be made by both experienced or new paper crafters. You may need just a couple other products to complete them. You can follow along with me using supplies you already have or purchase any products you see me use from my online store. The link to all products is below in my description or on my blog, creativechelsey.com. If you like this video, please subscribe to my channel so you can get updates when I post a new video. Before we begin, I also want to mention the amazing perks you can receive when you subscribe to Paper Pumpkin with me as your demonstrator. With every Paper Pumpkin stamp set and ink spot sent, I design a card and mail out my very own card kit to my subscribers so they can make 2 of my exclusive card design. These cards are so fun and show new ways to use stamps and ink. We also meet once each month to make the card together, chat, and have fun. If you would like to also receive this extra perk, sign up for Paper Pumpkin using the link below and make sure to select me as your demonstrator. So let's begin with the blue card base from the kit. We're going to cut this into 2 large sections. Let's start with a 4-inch section and then rotate to 5 1/4. And that is for our first card. So that's card number 1. And then we're going to rotate this. You have a score line right here, and I am going to push that off into my scrap piece. So rotate so that score line isn't in your 3-inch piece. So you're just going to go ahead and cut a 3-inch piece. Hold on to the leftovers here. I always find a fun way to use those. So the second piece just needs to be 3 inches by 5 1/2 inches. All right, so next we're going to separate the envelope because we're going to be using some pieces from one envelope for our card today. So I do this by removing a small section from all 3 sides. And then we're going to just save the front half. And we're going to come to this piece here that has the angle at the bottom. Let's go ahead and remove some of this thicker paper at the top. Let's just cut it at like a 1/4 of an inch. So all those little pieces we don't need. And then from there, we're going to cut another piece that's a 1/2 inch. And we're going to use this on our card. Let me show you the piece. So it's this little strip here. You're going to have an area where it overlaps, but we're going to cover that up. And then take your basic beige piece with the basic beige on the top, and we're going to remove this section here. And that's just slightly under 2 inches. We're going to remove it so that we don't have any of that double layer. So it's like maybe 1 7/8 inches. And then you want to cut the width down to just under 4 inches. So maybe at about an inch or so on the right side. Go ahead and trim that off. So that's the size that we're going to be using. All right, so let's go ahead and do card number 1 first. The card base is Lost Lagoon, and I have cut it just to your normal size, which is 8 1/2 by 5 1/2 and scored at 4 1/4. And we're going to go ahead and add with some liquid adhesive or your favorite adhesive. And we're going to place this so that it's in the center from top to bottom, but push it all the way to the left. And that just gives us a little different layout than we normally do. Most of the time I would just put this right in the middle, but this time I thought it looked a little fun to have it off-center just slightly. So it's going to look something like this. So before we do any stamping on our basic beige piece, I want to add my strip here. And you can either cut it so that the angle goes the same direction, or it could be in an opposite direction. So I'm just going to go ahead and trim it like that. And then I'm going to add it to my piece. And this one, I kept it so that it was inside, but you could also have it come a little bit outside if you want. And I'm just going to make it a little shorter just by removing more off of one side. So something like that. And you're just going to add it with your favorite adhesive near the bottom. You don't want it to come off of the left side because that side is going to match with your edge of your card. And I'm doing it just around 1/4 of an inch or a little less than that. So whatever looks good to you, you can place it like that. And we are going to cover up that little center area with our top piece. So, and if it shows, it's not a big deal. But next we're going to stamp our greeting. And I wanted that greeting to be in a neutral color, so I'm going to use Early Espresso. And I wanted to use Hello Spring as my greeting. And so now we have a little space here where we can stamp the greeting. And you want to move it as close to the right side as you can. So just bring it down into that space. So it's going to look something like this. So next we're going to stamp on our little chives ticket piece. This has kind of the zigzag top and bottom. To me, it looks like a little ticket that you'd get. We're going to stamp in the Petunia Pop ink that came in our kit as with the flower image. And we're going to do some stamping, second generation stamping. So just keep in mind that the first time you stamp, you're going to get a nice dark color. So I'm going to stamp it kind of where I want that dark color, and then stamp again where I want a light color. And this is going to give us some nice depth to the image. And we're going to repeat that 2 times. Let's do another one up here. So looks like this. Then I'm going to pull in some of the scratch paper from the kit. So this is just the leftover paper from our die cuts. And I'm going to use that to stamp another full strength image just down here in a corner. And then I'm going to stamp another second generation image. So this image has 3 second generation and 2 first generation. And then I can either fussy cut this image, or if you have the die cuts that coordinate with this kit, they're called Spring is in the Air dies. And there are 2 dies from that die set. There are 5 in total, and 2 coordinate with this kit. 1 cuts out the flower, and then 1 cuts out the stamped chives. So I'm just going to go ahead and run this image and its die through my machine, and I'll be right back. And if you don't have it, you can quickly fussy cut that as well. Okay, so once I've done that, I'm going to pop this up, but I don't want to use a full dimensional. So I'm going to make my own little glue dot by taking some of the tear and tape, which came in the kit, and putting it on my finger and removing the paper backing. And then you just roll up the tear and tape to create a nice thick kind of glue dot, just like that. And then you can add that to the back of your flower and pop that on wherever you want. I'm just going to put it like that. And you can see that it gives just a little bit of depth, not as much as a dimensional, just a small amount, which I kind of liked there. Okay, so now we're ready to kind of put our card together, and I am going to use some dimensionals from the kit, and I'm going to place it. You can do it low, you could do it high. I'm going to just do it a little lower than middle. Put it right across my card, making sure that edge matches the left side. And then when you add your little ticket, only put the dimensionals on the top and the bottom. Actually, I'm going to just do the top because it really depends if I have enough space at the bottom. We can always just add some tear and tape at the bottom if we don't place dimensionals. And then what you're looking for is just to barely cover up that little seam there. So you're going to go right up next to your greeting and place it like that. And it looks like I probably have enough room for a dimensional. I'm just going to put one right near the edge there. Perfect. Okay, so that is placed really, so that maybe is a little lower than I placed this one. So you can kind of just eyeball where you want it. Either one looks great. Then you're going to take 10 inches of linen thread from the kit, tie a little bow, and if you have any of these little glue dots left over from past kits, you can use that to add the bow. And I'm going to place it right where the green strip and this little ticket meet near the greeting, and place it at an angle so it doesn't cover up my greeting. Just like that. Super cute. I love adding the extra depth with those lighter chives flowers. Really pretty. So let's jump over to card number 2. This one comes together just as quickly. I'm using the second half of that Lost Lagoon cardstock for my card base. I'm also pulling in a little bit of cardstock. I've got Petunia Pop and Basic White. They're 1/2 inch strips by 5.5 inches. And I'm just going to add them to the bottom of my 3-inch piece from the card base. And I'm going to make the white just a little bit thicker than the pink color. So the white's maybe about 1/4 inch or so. And then when I add these to my card base piece, I'm going to just do like 1/8 inch showing for that pink strip. It's kind of fun to have some different amounts showing here and there. Okay. So just make sure they look even. It's going to look something like that. If you have any kind of hanging off, you can just trim it up. And then you'll add this to the center of your card base with a little adhesive. Maybe about 1/2 inch or so at the top and a little larger area at the bottom. Just like that. And then you're going to take the large basic beige label that is in the kit. I added dimensionals to the back, and I'm just going to lay that right in the middle of the blue piece. And then next we're going to use some of the die cuts. I'm starting with the one here that is mint, and I've popped it up with a dimensional. And then I've got this one, which is either lavender or thyme, and then this one, which I think might be rosemary. And I'm going to add those, this one here on the left with some tear and tape, and the same for the rosemary here on the right with tear and tape, just like that. Then you'll take your little round circle label, and you could stamp any greeting. I'm going to use Sending Love, and to kind of coordinate that Petunia Pop piece of cardstock, I'm going to use the Petunia Pop ink from the kit. Go ahead and stamp that in the center of your circle, just like that. And then on your card, I'm going to take a little bit of tear and tape, and right about here, I'm going to add some adhesive, and this is where I'm going to do my faux bow. So you just want a little bit so that your linen thread will adhere. This is 12 inches of linen thread, and you want to angle it to the top left corner, and then just create a bow on one side, and then create a bow on the other side. Just like that. This one I'm going to make just a little bit bigger. Okay, so just like that. This will lay down once we put the greeting on. Go ahead and stick a dimensional over the linen thread to hold it in place. And then you can put your greeting right in the center like that. Just like that. And your card's all done. Well, I hope you enjoyed watching me create these two beautiful cards today. If you're interested in getting your own paper pumpkin subscription, please use the link in the description box below. If you would like to see written instructions or close-up images on how I created these cards, you can visit my blog, creativechelsey.com. Thanks so much for watching. Have a creative day. Bye.